Looks to me, based on the 1 month and what happened today, that we're in the abundance card right now. So a day late on the sequence of events right now. But sequence of events still very accurate. And also it's kind of makes it kind of makes sense because here, see, we've got the science card on the 27th, but the science card appearing here on the 29th, putting us a little bit behind schedule as far as the sequence of events. And then there's no real correlations here on the 30th as far as the sequence of events, or the 31st. Sorry, that was the 21st. Sorry, that was the 12th. The 1st of December, excuse me. But in any case, so there's no correlation here at the end, meaning that it's a little difficult to determine. This is probably a combo of the science card, the abundance card, and the satiety card, actually. And there we go. There's that turnaround. This is why we have the prudence card here. A key resistance that will be able to play both directions around. So first probably to the downside. And then we'll have a reversal around 11 o'clock. It looks like there should be somebody speaking at that time. And what they're speaking about should not be relied upon or trusted. We'll have like a sideways rotation along key support around that time, around 11. Look at that peak. Right, like that peak was right at 9:57. I'm sure I said there was a peak at 10 o'clock based on what's here on the reading. If I went and I checked the recording, I'm sure I said there was a peak at 10 o'clock and a trough around 11. So we'll see a trough around 11 o'clock and then sideways rotation. Big move out of that sideways rotation to the upside after establishing support. And then we might establish as many as two more higher levels of support, taking us into a high around probably 12:30 or 12 or 12:30. And we go from a high to a low pretty fast there and then come back. End of day, I'm pretty sure we end at near a high. And then, on the 30th, I see this decline. But since we're off, we're like a minus a day on timing right now. This is looking more like a bullish day than a bearish day right now. The 30th. It's pretty mixed. It's pretty mixed. And there's probably a drop there overnight, actually. But be on the lookout, guys. Be careful because we've got this unicursal hexagram energy, which, remember, I talk about it a lot. It does one of two things. In my experience has been that for the most part, like the majority of the time, it's going to be a pivot point before a notable decline. But there's been a lot of cases recently where it's more of like a price level marker. And we continue to go higher, but what it's indicating is that when we do have that real breakdown, that the next basic like correction or mini failure, if you will, that we will break down through those unicursal price levels. Seeing it before the death card makes me feel like we probably have a drop overnight. But this has been pretty solid reading thus far. Although I probably thought we were opening lower. Man, those opens are so tricky. I tried for January, I've actually tried a new system for predicting the where we open in relation to the prior day. Because that seems to be the area where I make the most mistakes. Like I don't make a mistake there all the time, but when I make mistakes, a lot of the time it's in that situation, predicting overnight, like the relation where we open in relation to the close. So I've attempted a new system for January. We'll see how that plays out. I'm feeling pretty good about it though. I think it's probably going to help out quite a bit. But yeah, so here was this revisiting of support in the pre-market that we recently met before, and then we have this move back into the open where there's this resistance level we failed to break through before multiple times before, and then we have like this kind of like fake out to the upside here into a peak at 10 o'clock. But it's the prudence card. It's advising to be cautious, and then you can see right here it was actually like 956, 957 where the peak took place. And I said around 10 o'clock, and then we have this notable decline. But the thing is that this is the Princess of Swords behavior. So we're gonna see like a back and forth, like a down and then a back up to this resistance level probably. I'll mark this off as the Princess of Swords. Right, so we'll have a trough somewhere around 11 o'clock most likely. And what's interesting is that there's no high correlation. Well, sometimes the Princess of Swords is considered a high correlator, but there's no correlation to the high significator card here around 10 to 11, which means says to me we probably see a higher price level, and we probably see that higher price level either around like 12 o'clock and or around 2 to 3 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock, closer to 2 than to 1, but somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. There's a high and a low within close time proximity to each other there as well between that 1 to 2 o'clock hour, or let's say 1 to 3 o'clock time frame. There's a high and a low in there. Right, and there's that Empress card correlation. Yeah, so the Empress card here in the high correlation position does indicate that we're likely going to see like so off of the high we have this sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally. So there's most likely a pretty notable opportunity, at least on like a day trade kind of scale, notable opportunity off of the high here, and that would make sense because you've got this unicursal energy in the same time frame as the correlation for the high and the low. So what happens is we probably hit this high here. I think it's going to be closer to the 12 to 1 o'clock hour than the 1 to 2 o'clock hour, actually. We've got this high here, and then we drop pretty notably into a low. But that drop into the low, indicated by the Empress card, is going to offer an opportunity to open up a long position. And then you can see we've got this big move back up, this unexpected move out of that decline between the 2 to 3 o'clock hour, and then a high around the close as well. So what I would look to do is at that high, when we're at price levels that are high for the day here, around like the 12 to 1 o'clock hour, I would open up a short, close that short when we hit lows somewhere between 1 and 2:30, and then you could open up a long. These are day trades, obviously. You could open up a long when you close that short, and close that long when we revisit highs, either in the 2 to 3 o'clock hour or at the end of the day, one of the two. Hey, Ellen. Morning. Oh. I burnt my toast. Sorry, guys. I was just setting up the Discord. Could you please check algo for today and tomorrow? It's pulling back down so far today. I've totally forgot I had a 2023. I never finished this one, but with that said, I can still get a lot of info out of it. Yeah, so it looks like towards the end of November, there's the completion of a bullish trend and a peak. I'm advised to be cautious there. There's a cash out opportunity, and then we have a decline that increases with momentum moving forward into December. Looks like the high may be right on the cusp here of November, December, so we may have already reached it. However, when we get into the low in like mid to late December, there's a pop and drop and a breakout, a pop and drop off the low and a breakout on like a multi-day kind of scale in late December. Yeah, so near the lows for the year, what we have, and it looks like the low is here in October. We have it in September, we have it in October, so pretty much accurate there based on that stuff. Um, and then there's this big move in early November out of the low to a peak. So there's a bit of a pullback here in early December, in other words. But if you're long on algo for like the long term, it's not something that I would be overly concerned about. Yeah, because see, here's that breakout continuing into 2024, right? We've got this breakout card here continuing into 2024. And there's like hard to say if this is going to be like the abundance card is an important high on like on any time frame that you find it in. It's going to be an important high. Usually it's like a new high, but because it's in January, I mean, a new high is a new high, you know. So it could be a new high for January, it could be a new high for like multi months, hard to say, but there's a peak there, and then it looks like we really start to get bullish. Yeah, so it looks like there is a year's high in January. I probably have that in the prediction. So quite a few places where this thing might hit. It's pretty erratic, but there's like a pretty solid rally like in February, March. And then I think the real opportunities to get in long are going to be around July, August. Hey, it was luck. Good morning. Hey, Proof. Let's take a look. Oh, still learning how to use TradingView, believe it or not. Oops. Oh man, that's gonna take a moment to open. It might be a down day actually, looking because that's the Princess of Discs. It's gonna go either way. We had this rally at the end of the day there. I'd probably be leaning towards bearish here actually. Proof. Let me take a look at December. Oh, I was looking at Ethereum with the X. No, I was looking at the right one. Sorry. Yeah, so end of November declining to revisit a support. U-shaped dip in December, taking us into lowest lows probably for the year again. There, I would probably be shifting into bearish kind of expectations here for the month of December. There is a pretty big move higher mid-month, but we see lows here in December. It looks like pretty positive, pretty strong correlation to the low significator there. Oof, look at that drop. That's not that bad. Um, so I don't really see a huge drop here. There is a prominent trough on the 31st. But it's overall looks like it's bullish on the 31st, and the 30th is pretty mixed. The 29th is like a move higher and then a full retracement. So that looks like that's actually. Yeah, move higher, full retracement. But we have more peaks kind of like here hovering around the 30th, 31st. So I wouldn't be too concerned about Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems like it's going to outperform a lot of the, looking at the January readings, it looks like it's going to outperform a lot of the altcoins in January. Um, and then Ethereum. Yeah, this seems pretty on point, right? We've got selling from a near overbought peak or crest here, and then we should have a big move to the upside to at some point off of this, taking us back to another peak. We should probably come back to these same peaks. What will Bitcoin's chart reaction be in response to the to ETF approval? So it looks like you're kind of on track there with the pop and drop. I don't know if it's going to be exactly a pop and drop, but it starts out bullish, probably breaking through a resistance, but we'll be bumping along resistance, probably break through resistance. And then after this bullish behavior, there's a decline through multiple supports, and then it turns into kind of back and forth volatility. That's like on a multi-day kind of scale, those chart patterns. Will crypto coins outperform or underperform previous bull run? Looks like it's a yes for that. It will outperform its previous bull run. Anybody remember what I predicted for that? I think it was this year, but I don't remember. I'm not certain of what I remember predicting it, but I'm not certain of what I said about it. That's what I was feeling. I'm feeling like in my mind, I'm feeling January, February for it. So maybe like end of January. Probably, yeah. If you just hopped on, so I was talking about the sequence of events on the 1 month. So this is obviously the abundance card based on how we've moved to a higher high here. And we've seen this move higher through resistance and then this break back down through that same price level shortly thereafter. That's that abundance card, but it's kind of combined with the satiety card and the science card. These three energies are kind of all bunched up on the 29th here. Right? Science card. This is the closest correlation we have to the satiety card. And then the fact that we had this new high abundance. Because there is no correlation anywhere really directly to the abundance card. We made it a little bit tricky to catch exactly where it was, but it looks like it's today. So we're minus 1 day right now on the sequence of events. Well, actually, we're kind of like right on point. Minus 1 day on point, depending on how you look at it, because we've got those three energies kind of bunching up. But I think tomorrow's probably going to be overall bullish, even though here on the 30th it says decline. We don't really have a correlation to the Prince of Cups either. See, and then there we get into the satiety card again. Yeah, this is really where, and you can see here's where the failure card starts to really come into play. Whoa, it's definitely Meta VPAD. Out of all of those, it was like it's like a decisive Meta VPAD. The other ones are really difficult to determine which one's going to outperform which, but the Meta VPAD is like there's no question it's outperforming all of those. I'm gonna add that one to the list. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll. Just a real quick recap. So we had this peak here around 10 o'clock. It ended up being like 9:56, 9:57. That's I marked that off as Princess of Swords price level because we have this decline off of it, and we should see another move back to that price level. So a trough somewhere around right around 11 o'clock probably. Look for somebody speaking. Like it'll be a prominent speaker around 11 o'clock, and what they're speaking on should not be relied upon or trusted. There should be the establishment of support. This looks like this could be the establishment of support right here. And then there's a big move higher, and that big move higher should take us back to this Princess of Swords. So in the midst of that moment where we have the speaker and the sideways rotation at a trough, around 11 o'clock, I'd close a short. If you did open up a short here at this resistance, close a short, open up a long, close the long when we revisit this resistance, utilize this resistance as the exit point. And that's really the best way to utilize a Princess of Swords or an Ace of Swords. In most cases, that's the type of behavior you'll see. I'm moving away from it and then returning to it. You're talking about the general stock market, like the general trend direction of the S&P, for instance? I don't know. I wouldn't say all that. It's pretty mixed. There's probably another peak around 2020, 2027. But I wouldn't say it's all bullish through 2026. Definitely not. All right, so you close out of that long position at a high, I would say midday, probably before 12:30 because we've got this unicursal here. You want to get out of that high or out of that long at the high probably before 12:30, and then you could probably get into a short there as well and close that short in the midst of a sharp drop to a trough somewhere around 2, and then there's going to be another big move higher, an unexpected move higher back to highs towards the end of the day. It's a lot of day trade opportunity here. I think we probably open lower and then we rally early in the day. It's probably overall a bullish day, even though on the 1 month we've got the Prince of Cups, but the Prince of Cups doesn't really appear correlation wise anywhere there. This looks like a lot of Prince of Cups behavior going on here. Hey, Dune, what do you mean? Will what end with a short? So you don't get tricked, fooled by that 1 minute chart. We still got some ways to go to the downside on a 5 minute. I think we'll probably end up somewhere around 455. It's possible. I think we probably will. How much time do we got? We got about 15 minutes till that 11 o'clock moment. Does anybody know, is there a speaker around 11 o'clock? It could have been around 10, somewhere between 10 and 11. I'm thinking 11. Dune, let me know what you mean. What end with the short? I'm not sure what you're asking. All right, guys, I'm going to roll. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that Rule of Karma. My friends, regarding the Rule of Karma, so as I mentioned a while back, we're going to have a Discord channel for repeated Rule of Karma donators, are otherwise called angel investors. So there's an angel investors Discord channel now. If you're somebody that donates regularly to the angel investor, to the Rule of Karma, look out for an invite to that. It's a private group, so do not share that invite, but look out for an invite for that. And if you don't receive one and you've donated multiple times to Rule of Karma, unlikely that it'll happen, but if you don't receive one and you've donated multiple times, it's probably because your name is different than what your Rule of Karma name is, in which case you should let me know who you are, and that'll make sure that I get you that invite. Much appreciation to all my angel investors and all my watchers. Blessings goes out to you. I'll see you guys later around 3 o'clock.